24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 830, 831, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 841, 842, 842. Senator Odende Emmanuel, can you move for the adoption of the rules and proceedings?
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Emmanuel Memga Odende. I represent Benue Northeast. I stand to move that the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 28 October 2025 be adopted. I so move.
Senator Reverend Johanna Amos, you can second the motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I am Amos Johanna. I represent Adamawa North. I rise to second the motion that the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 28 October 2025 be adopted. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, moved by Senator Odende and seconded by Senator Reverend Johanna, that the votes and proceedings of yesterday, being Tuesday, the 28th day of October 2025, be approved. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of yesterday is hereby adopted. Announcement. I wish to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Benford International School, Abuja, who are here in the gallery of the Senate to observe our proceedings of today. You are most welcome and may God bless you. You may wish to sit down. This is also to acknowledge the presence of members of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana who are here in our gallery to observe our proceedings. They are members of the Committee on Defense and Interior. Honorable James Agalga, Chairman. Honorable John Etim Fojo, Honorable Reverend John Etim Fojo, Ranking Member. Honorable Peter Lanchene Tubu, Vice Person. Honorable Isufu Mahmoud, Member. Honorable Eric Nana Agemang Prempe, Member. And Haja Aisha Salifu, Principal Assistant Clerk. Others are committee on, another committee is Committee on Security and Intelligence, whose Vice Chairman is here, Honorable Oscar Ofori Laibi. I will have the members of the committee that are here. Number one, Honorable Richard Kuiri, Member. Honorable Bede Zedeng Anwatazumu, who is a member. Honorable Nicholas Amankwa, Member. Honorable Charles Asoako Uwiredo, a member. Then we have Janet Amina Osei, Reporter Secretary to the delegation. And then we have Mr. Frank Osie Opoko, the Protocol Officer. They are all accompanied by Dr. Lydia Yamoa Hagan, Technical Advisor for Security, Sector Reform and Governance. You are most welcome. Colleague from Ghana, we welcome you, and we wish you a happy stay in Nigeria. Thank you, and you may wish to sit down. The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Office of the Clerk. The Senate President, Senator Godswill Obodakpabio, invitation to a courtesy visit on the President of the Senate. I wish to inform the leadership of the Senate and distinguished senators that the executive chairman and members of the National Assembly Service Commission will pay a courtesy visit on the President of the Senate to hold as follows. Date: today being Wednesday, 28th day of October 2025. Venue: Senate President Conference Room, 4th floor, New Building. Time: 3 p.m. Members of the Senate leadership, chairman and members of the Committee on Establishment and Public Affairs Matters, and all other distinguished senators are invited to attend. Please accept, Your Excellency, the assurances of my highest esteem. Emmanuel Odo JP, PhD, Acting Clerk of the Senate. You say 20. Any petition? Petition? No petition. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Local and Foreign Debts on the new external borrowing in the 2025 Appropriation Act, refinance of maturing Eurobond, and issue the broad sovereign sukuk in the international capital market. Mr. President, you may wish to invite His Excellency, Most Distinguished Senator Wamako Magatar Kada Aliyu, the chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report of the committee.
I call on the chairman of the committee, the second Yama of Sokoto, Senator Aliyu Magatakada Wamako, to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. My names are Aliyu Wamako, Sokoto North. Mr. President, I move that the Senate to receive and consider the report of Committee on Foreign and Local Debt on the new standard borrowings in 2025 Appropriation Act, refinance of maturing Eurobond, and issue a debate sovereign cooks in the international capital market. Mr. President, I so move.
Senator Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambu, former Accountant General of the Federation, former Governor of Gombe State. You may wish to second the motion.
Yeah. My name is Senator Ibrahim Dankwambu, representing Gombe North. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Senator Wamako for the report to be submitted. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion as moved and seconded, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Chairman, you may proceed. You can go ahead, yes.
Mr. President, my dear colleagues, this report on the Committee on Local and Foreign Debt got a referral from this Senate some 2 weeks ago, but because of some happenings, including the Constitutional Review Committee meeting in Lagos, it could not be submitted earlier than today. Mr. President, the committee had met and considered the request of Mr. President on this matter, and the recommendations by this committee are covered on, observations are on page 4, and recommendations are, Mr. President, on page 6 of this report as submitted. And after a due deliberation, Mr. President, the committee came to the conclusion that this request be approved. The committee report proposed a refinance essential due to 1, bridge the financing gap in 2020-25 budget. 2, prevent Eurobond default and preserve Nigeria's market credibility. 3, diversify funding sources through ethical finance instrument. And 4, support critical infrastructure projects that drive inclusive economic growth. Accordingly, the committee urges the Senate to approve the request of Mr. President as submitted. In concluding, Mr. President, we are going to appreciate the Senate. Gratitude to the President of the Senate and the leadership of the Senate for the competence reports on this committee. I so submit, Mr. President. Thank you.
The Chief Whip.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohammed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished senators, this borrowing is within the public debt to GDP ratio, which is estimated at 39% and therefore remains within the international threshold of 55% to 60%. And because of that, since we are within that international threshold of 55 to 60%, and our public public debt to GDP ratio still remains at 39%, it's still sustainable. And I urge my colleagues to support this motion.
Thank you very much. And I call on the Chairman, Senate Committee on Finance to bear his mind. I'll give him 1 minute. Then, of course, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking, the famous Baba Adini of Ikorodu.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. Thank you, sir. I think the committee have done. We must wait to welcome Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished Senator Sani Musa, continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I will extend my greetings to Mr. President before my comment.
Not your greetings, report yourself.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District, and I stand to commend the committee, which I also belong to, for doing a wonderful job, because already all the requests from Mr. President have already been captured in the medium-term expenditure framework for the 2026 to 2029 or 2027, sorry. So it's very needful that we give approval to this request so that the 2025 Appropriation Act will be given the funding necessary. And I believe there is no much to talk about in this, because already in the fiscal policy is already captured. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other comments?
And the next person.
Oh, Baba Adini.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East Senatorial District. Not this thing. Mr. President, shall I just continue? Well, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I also would like to lend my support to this request because this request, just like it has been presented, is more of a compliance issue, because the 2025 Appropriation Act had already made provisions for deficit financing, which we had already approved. So the first two requests are more like a compliance issue, in the sense that, one, the first one is to issue a resolution so that the borrowing component of the deficit already approved can also be made effective, while the second request, like the chairman mentioned, is a refinancing. So while the second request is can I continue? Yes. So like I said, the first request is Mr. President. So the first request is actually nothing new, but a compliance request to issue a resolution to back the deficit that we had approved, which a portion of it is about to be contracted now, and of course it is also to part finance the 2025 budget. While the second request of the Eurobond refinancing is also to ensure that the country does not default on the Eurobond that is due on November 21, 2025. And the last request, which is the Sukuk, is also to make, to create a more interesting basket for the Sukuk that has always been successful in financing most of our infrastructural projects. So the only thing I'd like to add is that just like it has been mentioned in Note 5C, I will also want to support that the three committees, that's the Committee on Loans and Foreign Debt, and of course Finance, should also exercise their oversight in ensuring that the compliance and the execution of all of these loans are adhered to. Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. So I also support as well. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Issa Jibrin.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. Mr. President, I want to commend the federal government, especially in the area of this issue of refinancing. I have discussed several times with the Honorable Minister for Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy that when a loan is increasingly becoming difficult to service, you try and refinance it. Refinancing is allowed so as to give you opportunity to spread the existing loan over a longer period and possibly at a much lower rate. So I want to commend the government for the issue of the refinancing. Refinancing is very key. Then generally talking about borrowing. Borrowing, some people I understand feel that Nigeria is overborrowed. No, I don't believe so. The Nigeria revenue profile is on the increase. And the implication of that is that the federal government can now leverage on the increasing revenue profile to borrow more money. As your revenue increases, you are encouraged to even borrow more, because that gives you the opportunity to leverage on the revenue. Having said that, I believe that the proposal here is good, and I want to commend the federal government for this proposal. It is apt, and it will go a long way to addressing some of the key infrastructural problems in Nigeria. I thank you.
Osho Baba.
Mr. President, sir, I rise to lend my support and commend the chairman and members of the Foreign and Local Debt Committee for a job well done. I have also listened very attentively to our distinguished colleagues who are in the financial sector and who are very much at home with these issues. The only thing I want to add, Mr. President, is the fact that on a previous occasion, we did agree that there is nothing wrong about borrowing. What is important is what the money will be used for. This is not borrowing to pay salaries. This is borrowing to fund substantially some of our infrastructural projects. And given the current level of unemployment and the state of our public infrastructure, whether it is road and others, obviously, we have to borrow to fix them so that the country will be in a state to go to a level that we can generate revenue to pay back. So I believe the committee has done a good job, and those who have spoken have further amplified the beauty of what, the benefit of what the federal government has asked us to do, and therefore I have no hesitation whatsoever in urging my distinguished colleagues to support this report and give it approval. Thank you, Mr. President.
Having received contributions in terms of comments from several senators, we now go to the recommendations. Number 1, implement the new external borrowing of $1,843,669,000,000. Point of order. What order? What order, Senator Musa?
Morning.
$1 trillion naira, 849,786,987 naira 16 kobo only, which is equivalent to $1 billion 229,113,000 USD only, at the budget exchange rate of $1 to 1,500 naira. In the 2025 Appropriation Act for the part financing of the budget deficit. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. This recommendation is hereby adopted and agreed upon. Number 2, refinance USD. Okay. Order. What order?
Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. The point of order I want to invoke is Order 5510. Just to refresh the memory of distinguished senators about the observance of our orders, not in breach, but in compliance. And subject to the indulgence of the President of the Senate, I will read the order, just to refresh the memory of distinguished senators, human memory being momentary. And the order reads, is Order 5510. 10 reads, during a sitting, all senators shall be silent or shall confer only in undertones. So in order not to distract the proceedings of the Senate, I urge my colleagues to observe these rules so that we will have a very seamless proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Whip, for drawing the attention of the Senate to this very important order. Please, let's keep quiet and let's keep silence and do what is expected of us as the number 1 or the highest lawmaking body in this country. We need to exercise decorum, remain silent while we observe our proceedings. Your point of order is hereby upheld. Recommendation number 2. Refinance the USD 1,180,350,000 Euro bonds 7.625% USD 11 billion BN November 2025, maturing on November 21st, 2025. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Assess. Okay.
You are looking at number 3, right?
Even any question?
Assess aggregate external capital of USD.
Yes, sir.
Point of order.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, in view of the fact that we have screening of the service chiefs, I want to move that we should suspend the consideration of the order that we are considering now for a future date, and then commence the consideration of the services. So we should step down this report to a future legislative day and then start the screening of the service chiefs.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will rise. My name is Ositangu. I represent Enugu West. I stand to second the motion that we stand down further consideration of the report so that for another legislative day and move straight to the screening of the service chiefs.
Distinguished colleagues.
So, second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we suspend partial consideration of this committee on local and foreign debts and then go into the business of security immediately because the nation needs this security. Those in support that we suspend this and proceed straight into clearance of the service, you say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. So the further consideration of this report is hereby stepped down. Leader of the Senate, you may wish to proceed by looking at our section 78 and others. Let us allow strangers to approach the chambers.
Told him that we should step it down. House of Rep are not passing it. They want to use it as a
Distinguished senators, resume your seats. Distinguished senators, resume your seats. Order, please. Baba Adino Yorobala, resume your seat.
Distinguished senators, please remain silent. We are about to usher in, we are about to have a motion move and second so that we can put the question as to allow how we can get the service chiefs to come in. But meanwhile, we'll give you some minutes to reflect and think of what your questions. We'll give you some minutes to prepare your questions before they come in. Few minutes.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move for the suspension of Order 12 of our rules on floor privileges to enable us address the second order of the day, which is the screening and confirmation of the persons listed on the order paper for appointment as Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs for the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in accordance with Section 18(1) of the Armed Forces Act. Mr. President, I move that the Senate do resolve into the Committee of the Whole to conduct the confirmation hearing, just as I move also for the suspension of Order 12 on floor privileges to admit strangers into this hallowed chamber. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, Enugu West, I rise to second the motion. First, that we suspend Order 12, the floor privileges, and also further that the Senate do resolve to Committee of the Whole to enable us to proceed with other activities of the floor. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by the minority leader say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Sergeant, you can usher them in.
The House is hereby called to order. Order, please. Order, please. Order, please. The chamber is ready for the proceedings, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, let me join you to welcome to the hallowed chambers of the Senate the nominees of Mr. President for a very crucial task of securing our nation and also giving us the right image in the international community. So let me welcome the chief, the nominee, and our immediate past chief of army staff, and all those accompanying him to the chambers. I have seen the special advisor to Mr. President on Senate matters, Mr. Senator Lado. I've seen the Honorable Minister of Defense, His Excellency, former Governor Badaro, now Minister of Defense. I've seen the Chief of Defense Intelligence and himself, Brigadier Malawite. Action. I have seen from Brigadier General Yaruba, in no particular order, General Jibrin, Brigadier General Babalola, am I right? Commodore Ahmed, Navy Captain Yabo, Wing Commander Mia. It's the way it is given to me. It's not according to seniority, so please don't be angry. And then Commodore Bukaje. And then we have Air Vice Marshal Oremusu. We have Air Vice Marshal Burkar. We have Air Vice Marshal Adekoya. We have I had mentioned the Chief of Defense Intelligence earlier, so I'm happy to mention him again. And then some members of the families of the nominees. So we had to open the floor of the chambers to allow you in and other strangers of goodwill who may have accompanied you. We are expected by the Nigerian Constitution to screen you and see whether you are fit for the job given to you, and thereafter, if we are satisfied, we will proceed to confirm you and then communicate the confirmation to Mr. President for your oath taking. So I congratulate you on your nomination, and I welcome you on behalf of my colleagues to the 10th Senate. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I rise first to move, Mr. President, that this Senate, having first confirmed General Oluyede, who is standing before us today as Chief of Defense Staff nominee, having only recently screened and confirmed him as a service chief in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that he be allowed today and deemed to be seen as being present here as a class captain leading the team of the new service chief nominees, rather than him being screened all over. And that following that Mr. President, at your discretion, invite distinguished colleagues to ask the first round of questions as you may wish, after which, Mr. President, I will be moving that we go into a closed door session where issues that border on national security and the sensitivity that goes with it can be discussed at an interactive session with the service chief nominees. That will be my motion, and I So moved, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues.
Mr. President, with deep sense of responsibility, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Senate leader.
Thank you.
I so second.
Thank you that you did not repeat the motion, because I would have said that you are adding an addendum. The Senate earlier screened General Oluide for the office of Chief of Army Staff, but today he's here to be screened for the office of Chief of Defense, Chief of Defense Staff. Am I right? CDS. So he would have been angry if he entered without introducing himself and then using a few minutes to tell us his experience in the previous office, and also telling us what he intends to put forward in this very elevated and commanding position. He would have been angry, because I don't want him to leave here angry. My colleagues, with this slight amendment, I'll put the question. Those in support that General Oluide takes the floor to tell us his earlier experience as Chief of Army Staff and his perspective in the incoming position, say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. General, the floor is yours. So, General, welcome to the podium. You are talking to Nigerians now, and when you were appointed, there was a lot of jubilation as Chief of Army Staff, because you are not a general who sits in the office. You are the one that is right there in the theater of warfare. You've served the nation meritoriously, and everybody is happy with you. I don't think there is any part of Nigeria today that has a Boko Haram flag hoisted since you came into office. You have cowardly attacks here and there on soft targets, which you cannot control, but which you are doing your best with modern gadgets to minimize and nip in the bud. For those of us close to the president, we are aware that for every single infraction, you have nipped over 99 others that you never allowed to come. And you are a man of action. So we applaud you. We are very proud of you for the services. Now that the president has said he should further coordinate all the service chiefs, just let us know your brief slide experience or experiences and the perspective on the way forward. The floor is yours.
Excellency, yourself totally, not sleeping, not having any time with yours, and doing everything under goals, make Nigeria safer. Now, what are the challenges here? We all know that resources are not enough, the enablers are not enough. So it makes it very difficult to get everything required to secure the war against terrorism, banditry, and other sundry crimes in Nigeria. Well, I believe with this annual chamber having support, things can be better. And it's important for us to know that for Nigeria to move forward, it's imperative that we develop our local blue-chip industrial companies, because we can't keep on buying from outside, because these things are extremely expensive. So it's incumbent on the country to develop its own capacity to produce where equipment was and checkmate challenges. And apart from this, we all know that we're dealing with every kind of warfare these days, which includes cyber crimes, cyber warfare, cyber attacks, and all in that light. And it's important for us as a country to checkmate the kind of misinformation that's out there. Because if this is not checkmated, I think our challenges are for me over. Then, as Chief of Minister, I made it a point of duty to improve the welfare and well-being of my soldiers and their families. But again, despite that aspiration, in difficult total because of lack of resources. It's very easy for people to say that soldiers, being a soldier is not like any other job. But I want to tell this adult chamber with all due respect that there's something special being a soldier. Because as a soldier, what is the days that you have sacrificed your entire life? Others. And for you to be a soldier, there's some element of balance. What do I mean by this? For the right Indian fellow, when there is danger, you are expected to retreat. For a soldier, you are expected to go forward and face that challenge. So the soldier is just not a man. So it's important for us to look at soldiers the way they are looked at in other times, giving their due respect, provided for, and maybe things will be better. Then added to this, need for us to improve and maybe probably structured police, because most of the job that is being done by the army as we speak actually lies within the purview of it. So it's important for the nation to empower the police, make it stronger, make it more formidable, so that they can do their job while we concentrate on defending Nigeria against external aggression. So when you aggregate all these points down, then I can tell you that my general chief officer quite challenging. But I can tell you that within the ambit of what we have and the resources made available to us. We're able to face some of the challenges. And I believe that things have improved tremendously, but we can do better. But in doing better, it requires a whole society approach. Everybody must be involved. I don't think it should be left only to the few. Youth and face all these challenges. But that for all hands to be on deck, make Nigeria safe. That's my own solution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Oluide. Nigerians already know you, but with a few explanations, they now know you better. And because you are like the Senate leaders pointed out, now that you are like the class prefect. By the way, I used to be a senior prefect in my college, in my days in secondary school. So I had other prefects under me. So today you are like the class prefect. You are like me when I was senior prefect. So, and we have earlier cleared you, and we have no doubt as to your capacity to deliver. Is it the view of the Senate that if you are allowed to take a bow and watch as others speak to us? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you so much, General. Distinguished colleagues, Distinguished colleagues, we have with us the Major General Shuaibu, Chief of Army Staff. We have Rear Admiral I. Abbas, nominee for Chief of Naval Staff. We have with us Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke, nominee for Chief of Air Staff. Now, each of them will take the podium. I will only ask one person or so per zone to ask them question in the open. Then we will go into closed session because security is a serious business. And then everybody will have the right to ask any question. Because some of the answers they will give are not necessarily answers for television. So we can discuss and come out and also guide based on inputs from our constituents. But in the open, you can ask just a question that is not too deep, so they don't have to mention names of bandits here. But when they are together with us in the closed session, you can go ahead with the various questions that will enable them to speak freely. But in the meantime, may I invite the nominee for the office of Chief of Army Staff, Major General W. Shuaibu, to please take the podium. General Shuaibu, even from your dress, you look very well decorated. But you just give us a brief resume of yourself so Nigerians will know you, and then you answer maybe one question or two. Then you sit down for a close interaction later. The floor is yours.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate and Chairman of the National Assembly, distinguished Senator Cosme Obot-Agbaidu, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Badaro Ibrahim Jibril, Commander of the Federal Republic, Principal Staff Officers of the Senate, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Special Advisor to the President on Senate Matters, Senator Bashir Lado, the Honorable Minister of Defense, Honorable Badaro Abubakar. I say good morning to all our members of the chamber. I am Major General White Shaibu, was born on 18 December 1971 and hails from Olababora local government area of Kogi State. I gained admission after completing my secondary school to the Nigerian Defense Academy as a member of 41 regular course and was granted a regular combatant commission on 17 September 1994. I was posted to the Nigerian Army Armored Corps throughout my military career, I've attended several professional courses and academic courses, both home and abroad. Some of these include the Battalion Commander's Course in the Armored Corps, while the last and most significant is the Counter-Terrorism Fellowship Program at the National Defense University in Washington, D.C. I hold a Bachelor of Engineering degree in Mechanical Engineering, Master's degree in Public Administration, a Master's degree in Strategic Studies, and a Master of Arts in Strategic Studies from Washington. I also hold a Diploma in International Security and Combating Terrorism from the National Defense University in Washington, D.C. I also participated in various seminars and conferences throughout my career, bordering on hybrid forces, counterterrorism, and gray zone operations. I have been promoted to my ranks as and when due, being promoted to the rank of Major General on 10 December 2021. I have held various appointments, cutting across my commissions, both staff, instructions, and command appointments. I was the Chief of Staff to the Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia. I was Chief Instructor of the Nigerian Army Armored School in Bauchi. Thereafter, for my command appointments, I was the commanding officer of 245 Battalion in Mongono in the Northeast, Brigade Commander, 21 Special Armor Brigade in Bama in the Northeast. Thereafter, General Officer Commanding 7th Division and Commander Sector 1 Operation Hard Empire in the Northeast, before becoming the Theater Commander, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hard Empire, equally in the Northeast. Currently, I'm holding the appointment of the Director of Armor Research before being appointed as the current Chief of Army Staff. Throughout my career, I've made it duty to train as Chief Instructor in the Nigerian Army Armor School, to train and mentor junior officers in the art of armor doctrine, as well as when I was the directing staff at the National Defense College of Abuja. I was part of the team that introduced to the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Defense College, the concept of strategic estimates, which culminated in the publishing of the college medium, strategic thinking and planning. I've also mentored participants, both international students as well as home students throughout. For my staff appointment, I was privileged to have trained officers in the Armed Forces Simulation Center, and also was instrumental in contributing my own quota to critical bilateral agreements of memorandum of understanding between Nigeria and the Kingdom of Jordan, as well as various ECOWAS initiatives. I was part of the fact-finding mission to Guinea-Bissau, as well as the commander of forces in that general area. From my operational experience, all my command experience have been in the Northeast, Nigeria encountering terrorism, indeed. From my early days as a young officer, I've been involved in operations that cut across the length and breadth of this country. As a young platoon commander, in 242 Battalion. I was deployed in defense operations in Kumboda in Operation Hammer Victory. During our operations, of led troops to counter the incursions from the Republic of Cameroon. I was also the commanding officer of 242 Battalion in Mongono in the northeast, where we defeated the Boko Haram insurgents in 2015 when insurgents were trying to renew their offensives. In that operations, I was wounded in battle, and I was granted the Purple Heart Medal for officers that are wounded in battle. As Brigade Commander in 21 Special Armor Brigade, I was instrumental in restoring safety to that general area that culminated in the neutralization of 442 insurgents and the recovery of various assorted arms and ammunition. As General Officer Commanding, we introduced the various pillars for the defense of that general area in my sector area of responsibilities, with significant humanitarian aids, including the rescue of 11 Chibok girls that have been in captivity. None of terrorists surrendered during my tenure as General Officer Commanding 7th Division. As Theater Commander, we were instrumental in the neutralization of 567 Boko Haram terrorists and the recovery of assorted arms and ammunition. To improve the integrity of our defenses in general areas, leverage technology to improve various long-range surveillance cameras to give our troops full knowledge of enemy infiltrations. We also introduced capitation operations that led to the neutralization of key terrorist links. I have the privilege to have various honors and awards ranging from the Meritorious Service Star, Grand Service Star, that culminated the Field Command Medal, Field Command Medal of Honor, and the Nigerian Army Outstanding Operation Medals for the Nigerian Army, and the Defense Operations Medals. So, for the past 5 years, I have been deeply involved in military operations to rid our country of various terrorists that have been disturbing in the Northeast. I believe that with my wealth of experience that I bring to the table, I will consolidate on my predecessors' achievements to create a very secure environment for socio-economic activities to thrive across our nations. Thank you, sir.
You will take my 1 or 2 questions. Distinguished Senator Mongono, he has made various allusions to his experience in the Northeast as a son of Borno State, most affected. Would you like to, not necessarily ask the question, would you like to suggest something to him as he goes into this new office?
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished Senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished Senators, the officer is very well known to me because he has served as the commanding officer of 243 Battalion Monguno when Boko Haram took over Monguno. As rightly observed by him, even my house was taken over by the Boko Haram insurgents, and they were instrumental to repelling or removing Boko Haram from Monguno and reclaiming back the territorial integrity of Nigeria. I can attest to that. My father also crossed with him when he's serving variously as GOC 7 Division, Sector 1 Commander Operation Hadinkai, Theater Commander Joint Task Force, all in Borno State and the Northeast in general. So his appointment is a square peg in square hole, having traversed the nooks and crannies of not only the theater of operation in the Northeast, but in the whole country. So my question to him is, what immediate action do you intend to take in addressing acts of terrorism, insurgency, and banditry bedeviling the country, having regard to your experience in the various theater of war? Thank you.
Just before you answer, let me call somebody from the northwest, where bandits have also ravaged the area. He has asked questions in relation to Boko Haram. Let somebody also ask in relation to terrorism and banditry. Distinguished Senator Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I remain Muhammad Adamu Alero, representing Kebbi Central. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the nominee is a professional soldier to the core. He has attended various courses that has made him qualified to be appointed as Chief of Army Staff. He has been to all the theaters of war. My only question to him, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is that how do you intend to actively address issues of troops' welfare in the army so as to galvanize their will to fight in various theaters of war? And lastly, Mr. President, the northwest part of the country is facing very serious security challenges. In particular, we have the bandits and also the Lakurawa that came from Mali. They move freely and brazenly with their AK-47 rifle. They even mixed with the communities. It's a pleasure, distinguished colleagues. Nigerians will be interested to hear from the Chief of Army Staff designate how he intends to solve this issue of Lakunawa challenge. Thank you.
Yes. Chief, let me just add just one more question so that you can answer the three at once. If you notice what the Chief of Defense Staff designate said, bearing in mind the financial constraints and the logistics constraints. So we are now, the questions that are being asked will be that all things being equal, assuming this, the thing is, Dan Kwambo, you can adjust the question so that he can answer.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Senator Ibrahim Dankombo. I represent Gombe North. Your Excellency, like you have rightly noted, this officer, well-trained, well-fitted, you see him, typical how a soldier should be looking like in Nigeria. is somebody too I have privilege of having interacted with as a former governor of Gombe State. And him and his team have worked very hard, because one thing is terrorism or Boko Haram or anything, and the other people is the radicalization of those kind of people. So working with them and their team, we set up an institute in Gombe, in Malan City, which de-radicalize this kind of elements. And they go through proper training, proper scrutiny and the rest. And eventually, most of them are de-radicalized. But at the end of the day, the problem is how to take them back to the various communities from where they were coming from. So my question now is, as the new Chief of Army Staff, we have made an effort working with them as a team to make sure that when they are de-radicalized and taught certain kind of profession, that they require a kind of paper or identity, diploma's degree, to push it forward so that they can properly fit into the community where they are coming in. So how does he intend to assist those kind of elements fit in properly by making sure that that institute, either as an army institute or as an independent agency, is made to achieve that objective? Thank you, Excellency.
Distinguished colleagues, no need to ask too many questions because we are going to have interactive session with them. So this one is that he has just introduced himself and he needs to answer a few questions because Nigerians are watching. And the rest of the very deep questions that I know you have, we will have them in the executive session with them. The day is for them. In the US Congress, sometimes they take 2 days to interview and screen a nominee. So this one we are prepared to take till Sunday to be able to get answers to our security situation. So the whole day is for them. But the same Senator Issa Jibrin, did you say that is your neighbor in Kogi State? Say something. Yes. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, sitting at the chair, very distinguished colleagues, our invited guests, I am Issa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. Your Excellency, I rise to first of all thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria for appointing General W. Shaibu as the Chief of Army Staff. The officer is very well known to me. I've known him for over 30 years. He is from a very humble background. He has taken this job as a do-or-die affair in the course of his career. He has been able to attend various professional courses. He has held key positions in the Nigerian Army preparatory to this milestone achievement. I want to believe that is an asset and that given this elevated position, you'll be able to do a lot to take Nigeria out of the security challenges that we are facing today. I only want to urge him to work harmoniously with the Chief of Defense Staff and the other serving chiefs to ensure that the lingering problems of security challenges in Nigeria is addressed once and for all. As for his competence, I can vouch for him anytime, any day, having known him for over 30 years and being the senator representing his senatorial district. On that note, I want to thank you very much for giving me listening attention. Thank you.
So that one was like a testimonial or an attestation. So that is enough for the open session. Distinguished nominee for the office of Chief of Army Staff, you've heard it all. Attempt to proceed answers.
Thank you very much, sir. I will take the questions as they come, starting with the Honorable Senator Mohammed, with borders of terrorism and insurgency. Before moving to take that of Honorable Mohammed Aleo, that borders on welfare of troops and the Nakarawa challenge, or any. My apologies, distinguished senators. So I start with that of terrorism and insurgency. The various external threats that cut across the northwest and the northeast lands of operations actually require a multifaceted approach across all domains of operations. I need to consolidate on my predecessors' methods I've been within throughout our career, especially in the northeast region. For terrorism and insurgency, we intend to leverage on technology to improve our night fighting capability, effective training of special forces, to improve our insertion and strike capabilities across all terrains, both day and night. And we intend to dominate all terrains, ranging from mountain ranges, muddy terrains, and urban terrains across our country, with effectively training additional special forces and special operation forces that we can insert or strike ability. As the distinguished senator knows, most of the attacks in the northeast have been within the wee hours of the morning, between midnight and 03 in the 200 hours in the morning. So we are going to improve our night fighting capability to counter those threats. We will leverage on intelligence to give us the requisite intelligence to deal with this issue, emphasizing synergy with all security agencies to the extent that we have effective multi-domain and multi-agency operations to tackle that threat. And I believe this will go a long way to stem those tides. For truth warfare, the fighting power, the components of fighting power, the moral component is an important aspect, and welfare of troops is a cardinal point in that. I intend to improve
to reserve technical
troops welfare to enhance the living and working condition of our troops, increasing financial support, and assuring quality access to good health care and education. So those initiatives to improve troops welfare will be holistic, that revolves around both housing and infrastructure, financial support, increasing allowances, and ensuring timely payment of their due benefits, and improved health care for all our troops, both wounded and personnel and their families. In the long term, we ensure that we enhance their career development in providing the requisite training to ensure that they embody the special skills of soldiering in all fronts. All this encompasses how we are going to focus on improving troops' welfare. The Lakarawa challenge and the banditry in the northwest, luckily, are going in that total of operations to conduct assessment visits within that frame. And I'm fully aware of the lateral challenge. And I assure you that with our improved training and special forces insertions, we are going to deal with that challenge and bring that issue to very close. Now to the distinguished senator, voting on the de-radicalization of people. Currently, we have Operation Safe Corridor operating in Gombe, whereby all the modalities are put in place to ensure effective de-radicalizations of those surrendered families. I want to provide for them a skill acquisition to make them viable as skilled members of the society. Now, we integrated them into their various communities that is not within our home. Properly organized, we have to work with various communities, the community leaders within that general area to see how they can integrate them into their various communities. So we require the whole of society approach, and we will be counting on the distinguished senator from that general area to help in convincing the people, whereby these people have committed atrocities against, to accept them as their brothers, want to bring them to their various communities. Now to the last question from the Senate President, that bearing in mind the financial and logistic constraints, how we proceed with what we do. This will gather on effective management of resources to ensure that we get the best out of available resources. The security is not cheap, so we'll still be coming back to the government chambers for improved remunerations to the armed forces so that we can together solve the problem of our nation in terms of security challenge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Is it the view of the Senate that until we go into a closed session, the executive session, that the nominee for office of Chief of Army Staff has discharged his resume creditably? Those in support that he should be allowed to take a bow and wait for the executive session, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may take a bow, and then we go for further interactions. Rear Admiral I. Abbas, nominee for Chief of Naval Staff, you may step forward. The podium is yours. Rear Admiral, a brief resume, any question that borders on tactical disclosures you reserve for a closed session. You may proceed.
Commander of the Federal Republic, Principal Staff Officers of the Senate, distinguished senators, special advisor to the President of Senate matters, Commander of the Order of Niger, Honorable Minister of Defense, Excellency, Majority, Good afternoon. I am Rear Admiral Idi Abbas, born on the 20th of September 1969 and hailed from Kano. I had my primary education at Dogora Primary School in Kano from 1974 to 1980. Thereafter, I proceeded Air Force British from 1981. I was enlisted into the Nigerian Defense Academy September 1970 and passed out of academy in 1993 and got promotion of lieutenant. I obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry. In the course of my career, I have attended both mandatory courses and courses that enhanced my career. Notable among the courses I have attended the top technical course and officers non-course specializing in above water warfare, above water warfare specialist. Then I also attended managerial staff courses at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Nigeria, also at the National Defense College for my strategic course. In the course of my career, I have held various appointments cutting across staff, structural, and command appointments. I've served in various Nigerian Navy chiefs as a young officer, also held the appointment of honorary officer of Nigerian Navy. I was also an instructor at the above water warfare school, where I specialized. And after that, I had the privilege of being back my alma mater as commanding officer, former battalion, Grand Defense Academy, where I played pivotal role shaping next of Grand officers, coincidentally holding ranks of non-colonel. I was also at Operation Safe Haven as sector commander, doubling also as Nigerian Navy contingent commander. Thereafter, I had the privilege of also holding another command appointment at Master Maritime Guard Commander. My work there was assist Master in the enforcement of particularly helping in the arrest of errant persons. Also, thereafter I was appointed as commander of a task force was purposely put in place to combat menace of piracy was coming, just particularly around the our waters. Within that period, I commanded that group, lot of successes. I was also briefly hold appointment of command and lead officer at the headquarters Central Naval Command, Bayelsa. Thereafter, I was appointed as commander of the Nigerian Navy, Calabar. As we will have it from Calabar, I was posted back to the Gua as Chief Staff Officer, headquarters Central Naval Command. After the stint of a year, I was appointed 12th Flag Officer of the same Central Naval Command, covering Bayelsa, Delta, and Anambra states. I was also privileged to serve as the Director of Operations at the Naval Headquarters where I oversaw the planning of naval operations, maritime, as well as canal across Nigeria. I was also privileged to have served as of safety and standards at naval headquarters. From there, I was appointed chief of defense and defense headquarters, where I was then where I actually as the current appointment house, so I was then as our staff. Among my decorations are old forces service staff, grand service staff, and 80 defense general service medal. I am a member of national bodies amongst the Institute of Management and the Institute of Professional arts. By leisure, I enjoy hockey, driving, and married.
Thank you. Yeah, as Chief of Naval Staff, your activities have direct bearing on the economy of the nation, particularly when you view it from the standpoint of oil production, oil theft, vandalization of pipelines, and piracy and others. So you permit me to call on one or two people to ask questions before we go into closed session. Distinguished Senator Abiru represents Lagos with a lot of water. And I think they are trying to build a second seaport. Is Senator Abiru around? Okay. Senator Dafinone. Senator Dafinone, would you like to ask the question?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Ide Dafinone, representing Delta Central. My question for the nominee for Chief of Naval Staff, against the background of his illustrious career, varied experience both nationally and internationally, is for him to tell this distinguished House his plans for the development of the Nigerian Navy, especially in relation to the emerging threats, and what support he intends to provide to the other security agencies. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, distinguished Senator Oshomole.
Mr. President, sir, thank you very much for this privilege, which should fall in between, in Umasha or somewhere before the river Niger, in between Benue and river Niger. Mr. Nominee, I feel very strong about what I am saying, which is, of course, to add the needed and required value to the security structure and efforts being put in place by the armed forces. I so advise.
Yes. What are the measures do you intend to put in place to curb the sea piracy and maritime crimes so as to improve security along the Nigerian waterways. Thank you.
Thank you. You may proceed some answers.
I'll start with the last question asked by distinguished Dr. Anamikon. What measures do I intend of maritime environment? What I will do is already we have existing structures. What's covering maritime crimes? What we shall do? Look at what is currently existing and what I intend to do. Further incorporate more of technology that is used on drones. We already have what we are doing. We are going on patrols. At times, some of these patrols don't really yield positive because of the nature of some of the locations. Aside from that, sources are being listed when some of these boats get to where these criminalities are happening, but cannot proceed further. So what I intend to put in place further enhance what we are doing now is use of technology, and that is good. That's what I intend. Answer to distinguished Senator Wadadasa. The question was on giving attention to land, waterways, and concern is the way and Lokoja and so I think the answer to this have a solution already and established special operations command with headquarters in Benue State Conference. This I think that's then to distinguish Senator Oshomole's questions. There are three questions here. I'll start with the last one, and that is of postcard, whether there is any need for it. Now, categorically, I would say we don't need that because the Nigerian Navy is already doing that. What we have, one of our goals is postcard, which is what we are doing. Creating another agency to do that work in a duplication of function. Rather, I would advise that even if it is half of the funds that are going to be used to establish the postcard, it can be used to enhance the platform availability of the Nigerian Navy. Those are my takes. We don't need to have any postcard. We are already doing that job. Then leakages caused by oil theft and illegal bunkering. We are aware of this, and like I said, most of where these illegalities are happening are hard to reach areas. And I can say those are minimal thefts, but which, if accumulated, amount to a large volume. And this out at sea, we are able to block the usage of large fire tankers, which either were usually anchored at high sea and smaller vessels are used to. That from them will be stolen. So we are looking at this also. The use of this same drone technology and other technologies will help us block this more. Next, the first question, the issue of digitalization. I totally agree with the Chief of Army Staff nominees' opinion. Radicalizing repentant criminals is a good way forward, but what of moral body? These are people that have killed, have maimed, and been integrated back into the society. To my mind, they mind relatives and family members of those that they have named think another direction. Those are my own opinion. The radicalization of repentant criminals to be looked into and tweaked. And if I may advise, before such is done, if families have been identified that have lost their members through those people, there is need to contact them, talk with them if they accept for those people to granted that amnesty after radicalization. Then to the first question by distinguished Senator Gafilone concerns what plans do I have for the Navy to of the emerging challenges and in relation to other services. We already have our total spectrum maritime strategy, which covers various areas of our operations. So we are looking at that, and one of the
Senator Passy, you resume your seat.
that we are now is that of natural banditry, oil and so the total spectrum maritime strategy of the Nigerian Navy takes care of
Senator Passy, you resume your seat.
and my belief is we cannot be alone, and hence we have to work together as a whole of society approach, and particularly for us, the armed forces, we have synergize, whether you like it or not, that only way out we can get out of problems our country is facing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, the nominee. Is it the view of the Senate that if you are allowed to take a bow and wait for the closed session? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Well done. Then proceed. Air Vice Marshal S.K. Aneke, nominee for Chief of Air Staff. You have the floor. Let's give you a brief resume of yourself, and you answer one or two questions from our colleagues, and thereafter we'll go into closed session. Thank you. Just a minute. Just be reminded that you are talking to Nigeria.
Your Excellency, sir, President of the Senate, Chairman of the National Assembly, Senator Godswill Obon Akpabio, Grand Commander of Order of Your Excellency Sir, the President of the Senate, Dr. Barrow Prime, Commander of the Federal Office, Principal Officers of the Senate, English Senators, Special Advisor to the President on Senate Matters, Commander of the Order of Niger, Honorable Minister of Defense. Permit me to all of President, great work, great decision I will bring for Nigeria. I will just go straight to my. I am Air Vice Marshal Sunday Health and born on the 20th February 1972 for the Plenary. I am from Umuaga, Kudi local government, and I was commissioned by the Nigerian Air Force on 10th of September 19 as a member of 40th Regular Combatant Force of the Premier Great Institute of Nigerian Defense. My early education started with Army Children's School, NDA. I attended Government College. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Physics from the Nigerian Defense Academy, certificate in Aeromechanical Engineering from Technical Training Group, which is now Air Force Institute of Technology. Sometimes. Postgraduate diploma in management from the University of Alabama. I have 3 masters, one in international affairs and diplomacy from Ahmadu University of Zaria, another one from political economy and developmental studies from the University of Abuja, and masters in strategic studies from the United States Air Force Air War College, Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. I also possess a professional certificate in aviation safety management from Embry-Riddle University, Florida, USA. I am currently pursuing a Doctor of Philosophy to reflect my enduring commitment to knowledge, research, and strategic thought. Over the past 3 decades, I have been privileged to serve in various commands, instructional, and staff capacities. These have broadened my perspective and strengthened my leadership experience. Some of these appointments include admin officers in some units like aircraft maintenance depot and 3015. I was also the commanding officer of Base 70 Wing, Maritime Group B. I was the Wing Chief Operations, also Wing Chief Admin, and the Fleet Training Officer. Some of my senior appointments include Director of Policy, Nigerian Air Force Headquarters, Director of Safety, in Safety Headquarters, Deputy Director of Operations, Nigerian Air Force Headquarters. I was the commanding officer, also command evaluation officer in both practical air command and training command. I was also the chief of staff and the air training commander. I was deputy commander on the Naval Defense Academy, where I considered being a first officer in this country ever find. And most recently, I was the air officer commanding mobility command, Yenabua, where I oversaw enhanced mobility, joint operations, and strategic response and coordination. As a career pilot with over 4,300 flying hours, I typeted those on the L280 extended version, known as Citation 500, Gulfstream 5, Gulfstream 550, and the workers 4,000. And also have the advanced state pilot license, what we release in pilots. Our professional experience spans both domestic and international theaters, from Operation Restore Hope as a young pilot in Niger Delta, United Nations Peace Operations in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where I served as the Chief of Operations in the region. I have the following medals: PSS, 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 FCA, and the rest of others. This experiences have collectively shaped my understanding of air power employment, interagency cooperation, and the indispensable role of oversight and accountability in achieving national defense objectives. I am happily married to my beautiful wife, Ms. Seriously Aniki, and I have 3 sons. Who can help to find crime.
Senator, distinguished Senator Kausmaila, resume your seat. Distinguished Senator Kausmaila, resume.
I will please see.
And lastly, my hobbies include playing basketball.
Thank you. I noticed that the number of people from the southeast who want to talk are far more than senators from other areas. But let us start from the ancestors, the landlords of the Senate. Distinguished Senator Abaribe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sitting as chair, I am Erinaya Abaribe, and I represent Abia South. Mr. Nominee, from the CV that you have given us, very impressive. And we also know that Nigerians are very happy with the efforts and how you have helped in decimating all the criminal elements that are holding us to ransom in the Northeast and the Northwest. However, recently, we have noticed a very disturbing trend, and I'm sure the Air Force knows about that, which is the use by all the criminal elements of weaponized drones to attack the communities in and around Nigeria, which means that these elements have upgraded their technology. And as someone that we have seen from your CV, having been Director of Air Operations in the Congo and also in the Nigerian theater, what would you do as Chief of Air Staff to combat this technological improvement by the criminal elements in our midst? Because we know that with them, this will only escalate if you do not decimate them immediately. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Ojus Okalo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sitting as chair. My name is Oji Ozokalo. I represent Abia North of Abia State. Mr. Nominee, my question could have gone between you and the nominee for a chief. I wanted both of you to explain to me.
You still have the opportunity in closed session.
It could have gone to both of them.
No, I said you have the opportunity in closed session.
Yes. So my question goes straight to you, but you can also answer with him. If confirmed you are going to be Chief of Air Staff and he's going to be Chief of Naval Staff, I want to know the synergy you will bring, because in our water territories, you are not very active there, and the Navy, the air power of the Navy is also not very active there. What are both of you going to bring in to use the air power to mine our high seas where this oil is being stolen or stolen? Because it's only a cooperation between you, Navy, and even I think the Army also have air power. I don't know how effective it is, because you cannot continue patrolling. This could have come to Chief of Naval Staff with boat. It's not going to cover the event. So Air Force should find a synergy with the Navy on how to monitor and man the Gulf of Guinea, and also River Niger, River Benue, and all the rivers, because people are smuggling even in the little rivers. They are carrying barges to go to Atlantic Ocean. So I want you to explain what pride you will bring in helping the Navy, or the Navy helping you in using air power, because we don't need only boat now. You need to go by air power. Thank you, Mr. President. Just a simple question.
Dismissed Senator Sitangu.
Thank you, Mr. President Ostangu. I represent Enugu West. Mr. President, thank you for the opportunity to speak about the nominee, who incidentally is from my senatorial zone. My question is more technical and tactical, so it will come in the closed session. But I would like to show gratitude. In my place, we say that ingratitude is second to witchcraft. Mr. President, I bring gratitude from Umuchi Nemerem in Umaga, where he comes from. Gratitude from the local government, where both of us come from. Gratitude from Enugu West. Gratitude from Enugu State and the Southeast in general. Mr. President, appointment of service chiefs in the past government from Southeast sometimes will look impossible. But today, under this government, we are having it back to back. The immediate past Chief of Naval Staff is from Enugu State. And I want to appreciate the President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for also finding our son who is worthy to be the nominee for Chief of Air Staff. We have never in the history of Nigeria had it this way. I want to thank the President for finding our son, the brilliance in AVM Aneke, whom we have seen from his CV and from when he spoke that he is going to bring value to the system. Mr. President, we, from where he comes from, have only gratitude to show to the President. We know our son is going to make us proud. We know he is going to deliver, and we will support him. And I plead that also all his colleagues and my colleagues here will lay their voice to ensure that he is confirmed. I thank you, and I rest my case.
Well, having heard the word of gratitude from his village, from his Umonna, and we can now go back to our work, which is asking questions. Dismissed Senator Nengi, I know he's not from Bauchi, so you are not going to thank the President
Thank you, Mr. President.
So please ask a question.
My name is Senator Nengi, and I am from Bauchi Central, Bauchi State. and the nominee happens to finish from my alma mater, both the ABU and University of Abuja, you're welcome. Mr. Nominee, listen to this. Since Buhari's assumed office in 2015, the Nigerian military has taken delivery of 32 brand new aircrafts. With the latest, and that is the key question.
The latest Buhari by Buhari. You are not
since
talking
Buhari
about,
assumed office,
not Senator Buhari.
in 20, not this one. Since President Buhari
So you are talking about
assumed office in 2015,
our late icon, late President Buhari, not Senator Buhari.
not this one.
So
Since late President Buhari assumed office in 2015, the Nigerian military has taken delivery of a total of 32 brand new aircrafts, with the latest being 6 Super Tucanos at the cost of $1.2 billion US. Air Vice Marshal, where are our Tucanos and where are they not running? That is the question.
in other words, where are the aircrafts? Where are the Tucanos? And why are they not performing? Deputy Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had earlier wanted not to speak, but I felt later that there's a need for me to commend Mr. President for what he has done in bringing forward the best out of the best of our military to serve as service chiefs. This is what a good leader should do, and he's doing right that. And to me, I feel it's in line with his zeal to bring total security to our nation. And I believe he has done this to strengthen our military. And I'm sure by the nomination of these fine military officers, the military of this country will be better than before. Listening to them, I'm highly convinced. I said this for all of them. And in particular, I want to thank Mr. President for nominating someone from Kano State, the political capital of the entire northern Nigeria. He has done that before. The former chief of naval staff, chief of air staff is from Kano, and now chief of naval staff from Kano. We thank him very much. It is a message from Kano people, and I decided that I should, put forward this message to the president, to the Senate. The people of Kano are really grateful to Mr. President for identifying even though he's one of the best in the Nigerian military. And we urge all of you, all the nominees, to be loyal to the CNC and loyal to our constitution. This is the underpinning of military service: loyalty, 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 and loyalty. And we are sure with you, the zeal of Mr. President to bring total security to this country will be accomplished. We have no doubt that you will do that. So we thank Mr. President, and we wish you good luck throughout your tenure and even beyond. I will ask the questions which are to do with the tactics you are using or the military is using when we go in the closure session. My questions will come in the closure session. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, the next set of questions will be tactical questions, specific questions on issues of communities that are ravaged by banditry, terrorism, or Boko Haram. And that, security is something we should discuss behind closed doors so that we will not be misquoted. And therefore, I will allow the nominee for the Office of Chief of Air Staff to answer the open ones, because Nigerians would like to have answers. So please proceed.
Thank you, sir. On the lighter note, because of the country I come from, we have a tendency to answer country. I'll start by saying my former boss, when I was in Navy, used to have a lot of world is changing very rapid rate. Those that will survive, not be the strongest, best, but the boldest. Those that will survive, those who have the capacity and adapt, I use the word adapt, rapid changing scenarios and conditions. I have a joke I tell my friends. Enemy you are fighting went to school. A smart person. Greatest mistake are the clothes they are wearing and assume they are ragtag. My intention.
Well guided.
My intention is to fight professionally, aggressively, offensively. Because enemy can only want to harm you when he is calm. A man running will not have the time to plan what you. So, as the chief of the Air Staff, if confirmed, my duties are very clear, direct, and the art and simple are to secure the lives of Nigerians, their liberties and aspirations through the instrument, air power, in conjunction, energy, with my colleagues, military, other big organizations. This is not merely a professional mandate, but a sacred trust between the Nigerian Air Force and the people we serve. Every decision I make, coming to the question of working with me, any decision I make, every policy I craft,
Distinguished Senator
will be guided by this singular purpose, which is to safeguard
Sorry, we are not interrupting you. Senator Lado and Senator Ladon, please, can you step outside and continue with the meeting? No problem. Go and have security meeting outside. Chief, sorry for a brief interruption. Continue.
Like I said, it's not just a professional mandate. Bond between the Nigerian Air Force, great people of Nigeria, which we are here to serve. Coming to the question I was asked, the Air Force, like I said in my seat, one of the early units I flew into was the maritime group. And some of the challenges being expressed here were challenges I saw while I was there. But in those days, we didn't have drones and UAVs. So I tend to bias and synergize with the Navy. Thank God I have a very good working relationship from academic up to this level to naval staff. I will try to encourage our subordinates to work along this line. If confirmed, I dedicate myself to the combat-ready Air Force, one that is operationally versatile, discipline, vigilant, but nonsense. Like I said, the man running from you will not have the time. My goal is to ensure that the Air Force responds swiftly, strike decisively, and adapt intelligence across the full spectrum of military operations. This will be achieved through rigorous training, professionalism, sound doctrines, robust logistics, and strong culture, safety culture, and the advancement of research, innovation, air-mindedness across all around. And I want to focus on the usage of leveraging technology, and you will see more of unmanned aerial vehicles and drones. Like I said earlier, get to fight smart. Find yourself in the battle. It's not the strength you have, but the brain you have. So, coming to the questions asked by the very distinguished senators. So, how you? So, Calvin. So, Dan. So, David. And the distinguished Senate President. First, I will answer them in no particular order. Aviation, very expensive. Take the word 1.2 billion environment to education ocean. Come on. Do the calculation of what it takes to train one pilot. Cost dollars higher. Some of these weapons we find are one missile, one of the cheapest, $100,000. Fire these things every day. So it's not a business for the chicken mind when it comes to that. This has some operations. We use the money intelligently and last dollar of value of money doesn't cut across the Air Force alone. Also is same thing with the Navy. Armed forces is that part of government which you must spend money and hope not to. Do not have it. You are a chicken waiting for the pork. You have it. No matter who the person is, you can look the person in the face. I have served in countries like the United States. I want to assure you something. Nigeria is a proud person anywhere. Our standards are high. I've flown to Americans, flown with people from everywhere to respect us. All we need now, sir, for the super Tucanos, are doing what they do. That young men and women sacrifice their life while people are sleeping. Most of the operation they do, we are giving you values for your money because the equipment in those super Tucanos are extremely expensive. They are located mostly in the northeast and mostly in the northwest. Every night, this same thousands of dollars of weapons are in. Those are the armed forces, especially the Air Force. We cannot come out and show everything we do. But I assure you something. Those airplanes are flying. And cross-check, they are flying. Just the kind of war we are fighting. Not this. So we have to see the guys with our brothers, army, Navy. But I assure you something. Those weapons, you can cross-check this out. Because as far back against the night, I'm not sure you know standards. But they are there. And they are fighting. They are not grounded. They are not grounded. Like I said, I will do more fighting smartly. But some of the things, some of the super Tucanos can do. Those drones can do. Less dangerous to your personnel. So I can work on and on. I hope I have, by chance, answered most of the questions that the distinguished senators asked. But I will conclude by saying something. We are here, sir, and we are here my colleagues, first, we are here to squeeze every dollar, naira you spend on us. So we give you value what we need.
Well, distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that the proposed Chief of Air Staff takes a bow and waits for the executive session? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Chief, just before the point of order in terms of time. Okay.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, very distinguished colleagues, I rise pursuant to Order 8.3 of our rules to move for an extension of time for the Senate to sit beyond 3 p.m. to enable us finish the proceedings for the day. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion that the Senate do extend its time to sit beyond 3 p.m. to continue our proceeding. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this hallowed chamber extends its sitting today beyond 3 p.m. to enable us conclude our screening and confirmation of the service chiefs. Those in support of the motion and move say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me now invite the proposed Chief of Air Staff to come forward. If we are to go by what the last speaker educated us on, I have a few takeaways. Number one, that action is taking place on a daily basis, that the armed forces are not sleeping, that Nigerians should be reassured that the evil they see today, they will soon see them no more. We have to go by what he also pointed out. He said that from where he comes from, he can answer some of the questions with proverbs. And one of which is that do not assume that the person you are fighting did not go to school. Don't assume that the person is not educated. Don't assume that the person does not know your tricks. It is not your strength, but your brain that will take you out of dangerous situations. You agree with him? Thank you for the summary. No more speeches, but I would like, because of his presence here, I want to recognize the Chief of Defense Intelligence to just step forward, take a bow, and go back to his seat before we move into closed session. Major General. Thank you. Well, I don't need to say more, but when I greeted him, I said, "Great Malabite." Then he answered, "Action." So he believes in action. He doesn't believe in talking. So thank you for joining us in this session. Senate Leader.
Mr. Chairman, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I rise at this time to move that the Senate we will now go into an executive session to enable us hold interactive session with the nominees on very critical national security issues that cannot be discussed in the full glare of the media. I so move.
The minority leader.
Yeah, Mr. President, I second the motion that the Senate go into an executive session to continue deliberations. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly now refers to executive session, in fact closed session, to have interactions on tactical operations and other salient issues on security that cannot be discussed in the public. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The press, thank you for your good work. You may excuse us now. Chambers staff, thank you for your good work. You may excuse us now. We now go into closed session with the service chiefs.
I just want to make an appeal. This program is still happening. We will keep more emphasis to this.